Well, I really, really hope you've enjoyed this Getting More Out of First Communion book. I really do. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Let this be the beginning of the journey and not the end. Now, whether you've already had the First Communion sacramental ceremony or whether it's coming up, take every opportunity you can as parents to be able to continue to take your kids more deeply into the mystery of the Eucharist. And there's several ways you can do that, several practical suggestions. Now, obviously there are lots of practical suggestions through the 5 sessions, but what else can you do as a family in the days and the weeks to come? I want to offer a few suggestions. Number 1, take your child to your local parish at some time other than when Mass is going on. Pick a weekday afternoon when it's going to be nice and quiet, not a lot of activities, no choir practice or anything like that. Let them walk with them through the parish and help them to start to make God's home their home. Pause at different statues, look at the stained glass, light a candle, spend time, bless yourself with the holy water. If you're allowed to, if Father's around or if he's okay with it, maybe you can even walk up into the sanctuary if it's allowed and allow them to just sort of see the scene and get a closer look outside of the liturgy. Maybe if you're lucky, if they haven't already during First Communion classes, maybe you can even get a tour of the sacristy to be able to show your young son or daughter all the behind the scenes, but help them to develop that nomenclature, to understand why your parish is named after the patron saint that it is, why that stained glass is there, why that statue is there, and what purposes they serve. Because all these other icons and sacramentals, much like the Eucharist, are intended to draw our senses back to God. We don't just taste and see God as we do in the Eucharist. We can hear the beauty of heaven in the music. We can smell the beauty of heaven in the incense, right? All of our senses are supposed to be illuminated at the Mass. But during the Mass is not the best time to try to point these things out, especially for our little ones. If you can make and carve out time outside of the liturgy to make them more comfortable in the parish surroundings, their Eucharistic appreciation and spirituality is only going to go deeper. Next, if you have Adoration of the Blessed Sacrament at your parish, whether in a private chapel or once or twice a month, but maybe it's perpetual, maybe it's here and there, make it a point to take your child to adoration, even if it's only for 10 or 15 minutes, where you can just kneel in the presence of our Lord in the monstrance and look upon the Lord and let the Lord look upon you. Now, this doesn't have to be formulaic. You don't have to feel the need to speak during it or even have spoken prayers or to read anything. Just allow your son or daughter to get into that moment where they can have that personal communion. Because the Mass is more corporate, it's more communal. But adoration can extenuate that Mass experience into those more personal moments. It helps them to start developing their own prayer language, and it really sets their soul to sort of a due north. So as they get older, and things begin to get more complicated with middle school and high school and college certainly, that they begin to look at their home parish and as the Eucharist as their due north. And as the storms come and those temptations in the world come as they get older, those things we can't control as parents, we can at least rest and know that we've done our best to try to calibrate their soul back to God so they always know where to find the way and the truth and the life, the bread of life, the light of the world, who is Jesus Christ. And beyond that, find those opportunities as a family where you can make the Mass more meaningful. Okay? So whether that means sitting closer, maybe it's not your favorite pew, but where they can get a better shot of the action as it unfolds. Perhaps it's reading the Sunday readings in the days that lead up to Mass. Maybe it's talking about what are our intentions? What do we want to take with us and pray for during Mass this week before we receive the Eucharist? And really make it a point as a parent, through your own body language, from the way you genuflect, from the way that you bow before you receive the Eucharist, for the way that you do receive the Eucharist, and for especially how you kneel during the Eucharistic meditation and pray and enter into deeper prayer in those minutes and moments that follow reception of Holy Communion. Those things are invaluable. That living witness, where your exterior expression and actions demonstrate and show your interior posture towards the Lord. That goes the longest way in developing that Eucharistic spirituality within our own children. They'll see by your genuflection, by your prayer, by your tone, by your appreciation, by your respect and adoration, they will see in you what you desire them to become. And the more reverent you can be, the deeper you can go in your appreciation for the Holy Eucharist and for Holy Communion, the more your kids are going to take and remember long after God calls you and I home. This is how we pass on the faith, not just to our kids, but to our grandkids and to our great-grandkids, because the examples that we leave and the foundations we create will echo on long after we see the Lord. Thank you for taking the faith development of your children seriously. Thank you for taking your role as primary catechist seriously. I pray that this booklet has helped you and your family, and I pray that for many, many years to come, as you fall on your knees before the Lord of the universe available to us in that sanctuary, that you will appreciate and thank God for this great affirmation we call the Holy Eucharist. God bless you.